You're chief designer for Pininfarina. Pininfarina have been designing for Ferrari since 1952, so it's a well-established name. Everyone knows the shapes you create, and this year you've come out with an absolutely stunning car yet again. Tell me please about the design process. How do you start off making a car like this or designing a car like this?
Well, first of all, I think is good what you say, that we have been working for more than 60 years now for Ferrari, and so we really understand very well the genetic of Ferrari, the DNA of the brand. But the important thing for Pininfarina is that we have also our own strong DNA, which is maybe crossbred with with the Ferrari one. So in this case, doing a car that is has a very strong symbolic value to it, to represent and to honor Sergio Pininfarina. So it was for us very important to do it like a Ferrari.
Yes.
And when we started to design a car like that, immediately we wanted to make sure that we would do a car that represent and reinterpret the spirit of the best execution of Ferrari design of the 60s and the 70s during the period of Sergio Pininfarina. So we really try to get back purity, which is also one of the basic values of Pininfarina, but sensuality. So clean, pure surfaces.
You want to touch
it,
don't
and
you?
Really you feel you want to touch them.
I know.
So it's very sensual and it's pure. That is the magic, because you do something very clean, but then you have this complexity of shape that progressively move from round to negative to positive again. And it's all on that. It's all on the magic of being able to sculpt perfectly a shape, and a shape that permits the reflection of the lights to run and create that sort of emotion that is expected.
Now this shape, I mean, you're talking about a modern car, but is this shape only achievable using modern materials as well? Could you have done this sort of shape 20 years ago, 10 years ago perhaps?
Well, modern technology and modern material help you to do things that are maybe almost impossible with other materials. But the feeling you have from those surfaces, which are very smooth and very progressive, are the same feeling that you could achieve with traditional metal or stainless or even aluminium beaten by hand.
Yes.
The only thing is being able to model this in a proper way, to design this in a proper way. Now we do this. Before it was done by beating it directly by hand. Now we do this completely digital, with a digital process. So to be able to do it with digital process, you have to have the knowledge or how it works physically. So if you don't know enough about the way to beat metals, you would never be able to do same shape with carbon fiber, for example.
There's only one of this is it?
Yes.
Do you know what surprises me so much? It's the quality of the finish of this car. I'm expecting all of this. If I don't look too closely, it will look okay, but looking up really close, this is like a production car.
Well, in fact, is one prototype, and we call it, we have put a little plate which says prototype number 0, because this is a non-running prototype at the moment. It's a prototype that we will keep in our museum.
Yes.
But for us, we put the 0 because we believe there could be the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, the number 4.
I hope so.
So it's a car that it could be produced.
Yes.
Now that we have this prototype, it could be produced fitting into a 458 Spider, as it is this one.
Yes.
And being transformed into a real existing car for very few exclusive customers who would be passionate enough to make this dream come true.
Going back to Ferrari, if I may, just for 1 second, you talk about, you know, the unique DNA that you have, but also the understanding of what the Ferrari design brief is. When Ferrari come to you, do they say, right, we want you to design a car based on a rear engine, a front engine? How do they approach you in the first place with the concept?
Well, first of all, there is already a product definition which is quite clear from a technical point of view.
Okay.
But it's quite clear from the start doesn't mean it stays exactly like that. So, for example, we know if we have to do a mid-engine or a front engine, but after that, especially on the early stages, and that's something typical of Pininfarina, we could propose also relevant evolutions. For example, in this car compared to the 458, we move the radiators from 2 radiators on the side, we put it centered to give more plan view to the front.
So that the design is dictating the
Yes.
technical part.
But we thought the two at the same time because we knew we wanted to give more plan view.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, in that case, the radiator are not good in that position, are good in this position. We tried to develop the way to make sure that it could work. And so, for example, we could also imagine to replace or reposition the oil radiator or things like that. We have been experimenting that while we were designing the car.
So the idea is that this car quite feasibly could run.
Yes.
You could make one to go on the road.
Sure.
Out of the corner of my eye, I'm looking at that. This is the car. The Dino was the car that always got me hooked on Ferraris, and that's no exception. Could we walk over and take a quick look?
Sure.
See, the trouble with this car is that when I look at it, I keep smiling because it's just it's such a sexy car. This looks like a race car. It's just
It is actually at that
ready
time
for
it
the
was.
road. It's wonderful.
The good thing is that when I have just seen this also arriving in our studio, because we asked on purpose to the Museum of Le Mans, which he owns now the car. We asked them to lend it to us, and when the car arrived, I just couldn't stop to go there and touch on the car and look at it and trying to sit down, which is not easy to sit in, but it's even more difficult to get out.
You can't adjust the seats or anything. This is all completely
it's all
fixed.
But I mean, this car expressed the same spirit you have on that, of course, 50 years earlier. So
It's a very, very cheeky shape. Is this a running car as well, or would it have been?
this one, I'm not sure if it was running. I don't have the feeling it has ever been running this car particularly.
Okay, so this is a styling exercise as much as anything
Already
else.
technical, there is the engine, there are the radiators, everything. Probably has been running a little bit just to
Yes.
take it to the show or to move it, but has never been used for running or long drive.
The thing about these show cars, though, is that they always dictate, hopefully, a little bit of what we get in the future.
Yes, this car was very representative because this car was the car that defined the future lineup of mid-engine cars from Ferrari.
Yes.
So it was the original. It originated the Dino, okay, the 206 and the 246.
Yes.
It originated the styling of the front part, the Dino Spider for Fiat, but at the same time it was the first mid-engine car for Ferrari, Berlinetta, which is the origin of all the lineup of the 308, 348, 360, 430, 458, until that car basically. So
You know, the other
everything
thing,
started there.
this must have been really difficult to achieve. I'm thinking from a technical perspective, the curve of that windscreen, you've got two curves, but this bit here, how difficult is it to make something like that?
This is a molded plexiglass. At that time was a very, very extremely innovative technology. It was extremely innovative. So you mold the plexiglass in order to hide the lamps and keep
You
the
keep that streamlined
aerodynamic shape, the streamlined shape. So it was very, very advanced. And even the fact that those wheel arches are like that is because the air was coming here and was just then flowing around the cockpit.
It's a triumph of design over technology, in a sense.
Yes. But in a certain sense on that one it was a little bit in the same way because all the elements done in the front,
Yes.
like the front little wing, were made on purpose to deflect the air, were studied with digital aerodynamic test, and we will put the car on the wind tunnel when it will get back from the show just to confirm what we have been.
That's thrilling. Good luck for the future.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.